So, welcome to How to Not Lose Your Life Savings to the Nursing Home. This is sponsored by Safe Harbor Estate Law, an estate and elder firm right by 694 and Rice Street, and just north of downtown St. Paul, a little ways. And Cerenity Senior Care, which, as I mentioned, Marian Center is sponsoring this. It's up on the bluff in St. Paul, a beautiful location where my mom lives. And these are the people who took really good care of my dad before he passed away from dementia last year. So I am super honored to partner with Cerenity Senior Care. And Cheryl Cassie is the marketing director. So one of the things we recommend to our clients when they're in this process is, I know maybe you even want to stay in your home, and I hope you can, but it's a good idea to check out some places and see what you like and get on a waiting list, and so that you have more options if you do need to move. Or maybe you are planning to make a move. They have independent living, which is what my mom lives in, assisted living, assisted with memory. Wait, did I say that right? And they have a brand new memory care center. I don't know if that's a picture of it. That looks like right where my dad was. They remodeled parts of it. It's really nice. They have a new memory care center, just admitted patients July 24th. And then they also have the nursing home side, which I love because it enabled my mom and dad to be in the same facility as my dad's dementia got worse. He moved to the nursing home. She could still walk over there. And so that's a really nice option if you want to check into it. So those are the sponsors today. And I am so glad you joined us, because in this time of COVID, I think it's an especially poignant reminder. There's so much that we can't control in life, and I wish we could control more, but we can make plans for what we can control, and that can give us much more peace of mind. And that is what we are here about today. And I congratulate you. You make a great decision to take time to be more educated about a topic that, let's face it, it's probably not that fun for people. But since we do it every day, we try to take the burden out of it for you. And today we want to educate and empower you so that you can better protect your assets, protect your loved ones, and get good care still. So the biggest financial crisis you can face in retirement is going to be paying for long-term care. It can cost over $120,000 a year. And so you could lose your life savings to it. And that happens to people. Today, I'm going to tell you about our smooth sailing asset protection system, again, to protect your loved ones, protect your money, and make sure you still get good care. Of course, I can't go through the whole thing, but we're going to get started on it. And we want to educate you and empower you so you can make good decisions for yourself and your family going forward. So at Safe Harbor Estate Law, we help you protect what matters most. And what's coming up is a picture of our team. Oh, I forgot to ask you guys something. If you could, I have to get chat back. Okay. Let me know if you can see the new slides that we have put up, please. And I'm going to try to move this to the side. Okay. So this is most of our team. Megan is on the right, the blonde who's a little bit taller. And then, of course, I'm in the middle, the brown brunette who's a little bit shorter. And we have a whole team to serve you so that we can provide you with better service and faster response and specialize. And so that is what we do every day, is help protect what matters most to you. And so I'm glad you're here today. I want to tell you a story about why it's important to pay attention and learn. I had a client last year, Emily, and her brother actually called because he's super helpful to her. And they hadn't consulted with an elder lawyer before, and they came in and she didn't have a lot of money left, and they knew where they were going to have to apply in a few months. At least they came in a few months early. It wasn't totally last minute. However, they had sold a house a few years back, and they didn't know the Medicaid rules, and they didn't follow them. All well-intentioned, but that's what happened when it came to us. as a result, when we applied for medical assistance, even after doing what we could to help them at that point, they had a $90,000 penalty imposed. Now, this means she had spent down to $3,000. And they said, okay, you need medical care, you're down to $3,000, but because of the way that house was handled, looked like a gift to us, and it wasn't sold properly, so we're gonna impose a $90,000 penalty, which means we won't pay a dime until you pay $90,000 of your care. Well, she only has $3,000, and as her brother said to me, I don't want to use my 401k to pay for her care. So it's actually on appeal, and we're waiting for a decision from the court. It was a terrible, tragic situation, and if we would have been working with them and could have advised them, we could have avoided that whole penalty. That's why I think it's really important. I'm really motivated to help you not end up in a situation like Emily ended up in. So I want to give you a little bit of background about me. I can relate to my clients because, like I mentioned, my dad had dementia. I have 7 siblings. We work together to support my mom. Before that, we worked with my dad. And then, yep, I want to help you guys sleep better at night so that you can go to sleep, put your head on the pillow, knowing you've done what you can, right? You can't avoid everything in life that's difficult, but we can do everything that we can. And then there's, I think, a quick picture of my parents here. This is just gratuitous. I just wanted to see a picture of my parents because I want you guys, and we really treat our clients like our parents. And I will often say that this is what I would want for my mom. This is what I would want for my dad. Of course, our clients make their decisions, but we are looking out for you just like I looked out for my parents. That's how I got into this whole area of laws, because I wanted to look out for them. So next, there is a slide about my, this is from a client. This is like a wonderful grandson. His grandma passed away about 2 months ago. And he had said when he called us about a year or so ago, he said, just a quick phone call with them made me feel like there was hope. And he did have a lot to get organized for his grandma. But he felt like when he came in, he met with Megan Swenson at first, and he said, I had all my questions answered. I had more knowledge than a Google search would come up. Thank you. I can tell you that's true. And he did work with us several times over the year. And he wants to say thanks to our team. So I'd much rather you be saying something like that than something like Emily's family, who really appreciated our help, but isn't as happy with the outcome because they have a difficult situation that we're still hoping will turn around for them. So next, my credentials, you can read this in the slides we sent you. You know, the firm's been open for 7 years. I have some good reviews from different people. 16th fastest growing law firm in the country. We got that award last year. And fastest growing in Minnesota, because we are helping more and more people that need help, and we're so thankful to do so. I'm active in the bar and the elder law bar and things like that. And I present frequently on these issues. So if you know a group that would benefit from talk about estate or elder laws, please let us know, because we are all about educating people. And so that is another reason why I'm so glad you're here. So let's dive into today. We're going to talk about how to pay for long-term care, first of all, and go through some options on that. Then we'll answer questions. I would ask you in the meantime to please put questions as they come up in the chat. I can sometimes answer them as we go, but we do have the dedicated time at the end to answer your questions. And then, because I know there might be some private questions or there just isn't time, we can't answer all your questions in this webinar. So we offer a free personal one-on-one meeting later. We'll talk about that throughout and give you the exact details to sign up at the end. So that's where we're going today. Let me start with ways to pay for care. So long-term care is, I guess it's just what it says, but it's not long-term care insurance, okay? It is care that goes on for a while where you're actually having to, either a loved one could be providing it or you're paying someone to provide care. And people who are 65 right now, there's about a 75% chance that we will have to pay for long-term care. So it is really smart to plan for it for everybody. The first way and the most common way that long-term care is paid for is private pay. And I always think that this next slide is a funny picture because it's like, who wants to pay for long-term care? And they're all raising their hand. But really, that's what most people do, is they pay with their own money. And that is what the government wants you to do, is pay with your own money until it's gone. The next option is long-term care insurance. So here I'm wondering, how many of you have long-term care insurance? Now, we're trying polls for the first time today. So I think there's a poll about this, but how does that work, Megan?
You might have to make me the host again, or they can just put it in chat.
Okay, just put it in chat. So tell me if you have long-term care insurance or not. Kind of helps me tailor the talk. If you have it, it's helpful. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. Oh yes, Mike is glad he has it, and some others don't, and completely understand. One of us does. Perfect. So thank you for letting me know. And neither of us have it. Okay, well, when you are younger, which I would say 65 and definitely 55 it's a good time to look into long-term care insurance, the younger you are, especially if you're healthy and your parents are healthy. But a couple things I want you to know: even if you have it, it's still worth looking at this planning, okay? Sometimes people have enough assets and really good insurance, and we don't really need to do a detailed plan for them. And we'll tell you that, we'll be honest about it, but you should at least have us take a look at it. That's what I recommend. So it is helpful. If you don't have it, it's not at the end of the world. Most of our clients don't have it, and we work around it. There's a new product that puts whole life insurance and long-term care insurance together. And what's sweet about it is, if you don't get sick and you don't need long-term care insurance and you died in a car accident or in your sleep or something, your family will still get money from the life insurance. Whereas I have an older policy, and if I die without using it, no one gets the money, just the insurance company. So a financial advisor, if you have one, can help you with that, or we can refer you to people. So that's an option. And some people use that to pay for care. The third way, we did your own money, long-term care insurance. Now the third way is government. The government can help. Medicare, that's the federal program. Okay, everybody over 65 is getting some of that, some benefits from that. Medical assistance, that is a program administered by each state. Each state has its own program. Ours is called medical assistance. Nationwide, they call it Medicaid. And the third program is Veterans Benefits, the Veterans Administration, VA. So Medicare, when I say limited, Medicare does not provide much coverage for long-term care insurance. Medicaid, or medical assistance, is the primary government payer of long-term care in the country. So I just want you to let me know in the chat, did you know that? Did you know that Medicaid is really what pays for long-term care? That's what you want help with if you need it. Nope, didn't know that. Yeah, so I'm always impressed when anybody knows anything, because this is really detailed stuff. Oh, wow, well, quite a few of you have been doing some homework, and you know that. So I want to go over with you some of the Medicare limitations. Medicare is for, like, I had a client recently, she fell and broke her hip and went to the hospital and then rehab and then got discharged. And so that was all covered by Medicare. That was a short-term thing. Now she broke her hip again. She's going to the nursing home. She's going to be going on medical assistance, Medicaid. But Medicare covers the first 20 days, and then days 21 to 100, there's a copay, unless you have Medigap. And so that it really only covers about 3 months. That's medical assistance. Then you go on Medicaid. Okay, thanks. Just checking your answers, and thank you for letting me know. So with Medicaid, I want to tell you about a story about my friend Aaron Miller. He's an elder law attorney in Texas. His grandpa lived in Colorado. They had a farm. When his grandma got dementia, he spent all his money paying for his care, and then he was out of money. So when he became sick, he ended up moving to Texas with his son, and his son paid for his care out of his son's retirement money. Okay, what Grandpa Miller didn't know was that there was Medicaid. He didn't even apply. It's really sad, and sad for the son too. So this is very helpful because you can get good care. You can, and you cannot take money out of your kid's retirement account. Who wants to do that? So where we can help you the most is with Medicaid, with planning for the rules, with following the rules, with getting them to pay and still protect your assets. So most of our talk is going to be about Medicaid today, or medical assistance, which is the Minnesota version. And one of the things I want to say that a lot of clients ask, or potential clients ask, well, are they going to take my house away? Like, are they gonna come after me? And I just have to say, they don't come after you. After you die, that's a different story. But when you're alive, they don't take your house. They don't come after your money. They just refuse to pay for your care. And then you're in a pickle. So it's a little different way of thinking about it, but they do have all kinds of rules about your money and your house and how to handle it. And we can help you with those. Okay, the third option, I think we had another slide on this, Megan. Let's see. Oh no, nope, this is right. Okay, so the veterans benefits. How many of you are veterans? Please let me know especially if you served in wartime. Or I realize some of you today might be here for a loved one, not for yourself. So when I'm asking these questions, answer for the loved one, because that's what's relevant. Okay, so if you're Gary, thank you for serving, Gary. Great benefits for veterans. My dad was a veteran. When he was still living with my mom before he got too sick, she got like free cleaning, or almost free cleaning services, and a little bit of respite care. And they helped him shower a couple times a week. It was really nice. And there's benefits all the way up to nursing home. So there's a variety. The rules are slightly different about how you qualify for the nursing home with them, but the waiting list, like for men, is 2 years for the nursing home. So a lot of our clients that are veterans, they end up going the medical assistance route anyway. So again, that's why, since it applies to most people, we're focusing on medical assistance today. It's definitely something we look at. Your dad served. Okay, thank you very much. So, so this, especially for wartime veterans, can be very helpful. Okay, so let's dive into medical assistance. That's what I'm telling you we're focusing on. Who knew this? There's two kinds. This is people over 65, okay? That's all I'm talking about today. There's an MA long-term care, it's called, that's traditional, and there's elderly waiver. It's also called EW. So LTC and EW, those are the short versions. LTC is for when you're in a nursing home, okay? Like for instance, at Cerenity Marian Center, you could be in the nursing home side and you could be on medical assistance. Elderly waiver is for if you're not in the nursing home. And lots of people hope to never go in the nursing home, right? So you could be in your home, you could be in an assisted living, you could be in independent living like my mom and have some services come in and be on elderly waiver. Sometimes you can even have a family member providing the services, and elderly waiver is paying them. So those are two differences. I'm not going to spend more time on this because generally the rules to qualify are the same. But we know the differences and we know how to work with them and how to apply and all those kind of details. So you don't really have to remember it. But one thing I want you to remember is this. If you go in a nursing home, you're entitled to medical assistance. If you're eligible, they have to take it. Elderly waiver, they don't have to take. They can say, we have 3 apartments here that are elderly waiver. And so if they're open, you can get one. You can live here and be on elderly waiver. Or you need to pay private pay 2 years full price, then you can be on elderly waiver. So it does make a difference when you're looking for housing, and we can help you sort that out in your particular case. So again, LTC and elderly waiver, basically remember, it's MA, it's still medical assistance. And for today's talk, the rules are pretty much similar. So the three ways you have to qualify are, you have an assessment, it's called Min Choices. And they're going to determine, do you medically need help? Are you too healthy, or do you really need help, and how much do you need? Okay, so you have to have a medical need, and they assess that. I know you're going to have a lot of other assessments from like the place you live and so forth, but this is a separate assessment that you need, and it's free. Next, you have to show that your assets are down. For individuals, you have to be down to $3,000, and there's a couple exceptions. And then like a house and a car. And then if you're married, you can have together 131,000. So that's all they let you have, except for a few exceptions. So if you meet that, and then your income has to be low enough. So income, assets that are left, and you have to have a medical need. Basically, that's how you qualify. The key is they look back 5 years. They want to know if you sold your house in the last 5 years, where did all the money go, and how did the house sale go, and did you get enough money, and did you make any gifts in the last 5 years? So how many of you guys knew about the 5-year look back? 60 months. So that's why it's really good to plan ahead. And that's what happened to Emily when she sold that house in the look back and didn't follow the rules. She followed the normal rules of life, but you can kind of throw them out the window when medical assistance is involved. So who knew about the 5-year look back? Russ knew. That's good. That might be why you even came on today. Yeah, and James, this is good. This is why we're trying to get the word out. So what I want you to remember about medical assistance is, in fact, you can go to the next slide now. Okay, I thought I had a slide that said this, but I don't. So anyway, it has, the rules are complex. I'm telling you, they are complex. They're inconsistently applied. County to county, they interpret and apply the rules differently, and worker to worker. We just had a discussion about this in the office today, that you have to actually ask every worker at every county how they prefer things. Anyway, the rules 3 are not intuitive. They're not. They're kind of sometimes the opposite of what you thought all your life and what you would like to do, like giving gifts to your children. Oh, now you're going to give me rules about that. Yes, we are. And then asset protection strategies are really important, because we want you to follow the rules so you get the coverage and don't end up like Emily. And we want you to also take advantage of the rules to protect your assets and yourself and give you the most options if you do need the long-term care. So that's the main things. The rules are complex. They're applied inconsistently. They're not intuitive, and you can plan ahead. I have to say, COVID's made it worse. The counties were not well prepared for this, working from home. They're not high tech. Ramsey County in particular is struggling. It's a little, we're noticing a little more work right now to get approved, but we're still able to get them approved. So the time to plan is now, because of the look back. And if you're even more than 5 years ahead of needing to apply for medical assistance, it's even better. We've had clients that can make gifts then or do other kind of strategies before they get in there. So next I have another quote from a client who did plan ahead and said that we went way above and beyond for her family during a particularly difficult time and accomplished things that she was losing hope were even possible. So she said, they've won my business and my gratitude, and I'll always recommend them, and we'll have them update my own documentation. Thank you for this team. You knocked this one out of the park. This is actually a man. I forgot. It's the same one his mom fell down a few months ago and went through all this really difficult stuff. So we were really glad we were able to help him. Okay, next I want to tell you about this asset protection. I want to tell you about a game changer that's new in Minnesota the last few years. This was the first client we had who took advantage of it. You know, everything's confidential, so we're not using real names and faces, but anyway, it's similar. So this gentleman, I'll call him George, he was a wonderful man, about 60 years old, and he was still working, and he had a stroke. So when I met him, he was in a wheelchair. He had a lot of difficulty communicating. Handling some of his motor skills was hard. His brain is still intact. I mean, he still works well as far as thinking, but definitely he was affected by the stroke. So healthy otherwise, probably could easily need 20 to 25 years of care. Okay, so thankfully his sister, who's handling his stuff, came to me. And so I remember this meeting we had in our office where we mapped this out. He was able to save about $250,000. It was about half or over half his assets, which he gave to his son, and his son is holding for his benefit. while he's alive. And then once he's gone, his son can keep whatever's left. But he has extra money in case he needs to move facilities or do something like that. And I'm going to tell you how he did that. I want to tell you this son, I'll never forget this big strapping firefighter, his son sitting in my office just crying, seeing his dad the way he was, you know, his big, strong, wonderful dad. So I feel so good about helping this family. I'm going to give you an example of kind of like what we did with him. So no asset protection plan. This is plan A. This is say you never did an asset protection plan, and this is just kind of what the state figures you'll do and what a lot of people do. So you have $600,000 and you just spend it the rest of your life on your living expenses. Maybe you get to travel a little bit, then you get sick, need care. The money is going to go to that little care provider arrow box in the bottom. It's a little house. Could be a nursing home. It could be a service that comes to your house. Could actually cost more than a nursing home, you know, sometimes. So whoever's providing care, you spend all your money. Then you see that little tiny sliver there, $3,000. That's what you have left. Then you apply for medical assistance. So you're paying $597 of your money, and then you're saving the government that much. And you might not qualify if you don't plan ahead. You might end up like Emily that, you know, have the $90,000 penalty. So that's another risk. If I want to tell you this, if medical assistance won't cover or they put on this penalty, yes, there is a very good chance you get evicted or your family has to pay for your care. And I have had clients say, they really won't kick me out. Yeah, I've talked to great places that have had to kick people out because they can't stay in business, you know, if they're not getting paid. So it's a real risk. And your quality of care can suffer. I think that's really important. We want you to have good care. So the next client did plan ahead, and this is like George. And so similar plan. I know the slides, I'm a little ahead of the slides, but there's this time lag involved in changing them. So here is the client who did plan ahead. And it depends on the client, but a lot of times at least half your money we can protect. And that's what happened here. So a couple of the strategies this client used, instead of sending everything to the nursing home, they paid about $275,000 instead of almost $600,000. And then the government ended up making up the difference, the $275,000. And the way they did it, they prepaid a funeral. That's a really good idea. A couple other strategies. It really depends on the client. You know, what we advise, there's limited strategies, but we figure out with you what works for you. And the big deal is, you see that gift of $250,000, that went to a couple family members, say in a joint account or in a trust. And then they bought annuity. It's called a Medicaid compliant annuity. And you can Google it if you want, Krause annuity, Krause. They were the first company to offer them. That's who we work with. They have a good website that talks about it. You don't really have to get into all the details though, because I think it's kind of complicated enough, but if you want to, you can dig further. Basically, George gave that gift to his son, and then we bought this annuity, which we calculated and worked out all the details, Medicaid compliant annuity, and then he applied. See, instead of spending all his money for the next 5 years, he applied quickly. And they said, okay, medical need. Yes, you had the stroke. Asset need. Yes, you're down to $3,000. And income, that was good too. But they said, you made a gift to your son of $250,000, George. And that was in the 5-year look back period because you just did it 2 weeks ago. Because of course we did this whole strategy with him. So they impose a penalty. They divide 250,000. Whoops, I'm doing this right now for you because a new number came out July 1st. And I think it's 8,400, almost exactly. So 30-month penalty, it would be today. So we're not paying a dime for 30 months. Well, that is okay with us because we bought an annuity to pay for his care for 30 months. Okay, so we planned the penalty. It's not against the law to make a gift. They just give you a penalty and we just plan for the penalty. So it's no problem. And so at the end of that time, he's on medical assistance and they'll start paying. And meanwhile, his son has the gift. And if George needs to move to a new facility, 10 years later, things change, the son moves, who knows? And the new place says, we need 1 year of private pay, or we need 2 years of private pay, or you can't move, they say, guess what? Son's got the money. He can pay. Okay, so that's a simplified version of it. It protects you, your kids, the people who receive the gift. You get on medical assistance. The facility, like Cerenity Marian Center, likes it because they're still getting their 3 years of pay, 30 months of pay, private pay. And so it works very well. I know that's a lot of detail. That's the most detailed thing I'll talk to you about today. It's the most detailed thing we cover in asset protection. When we go through it with you one-on-one, of course, we can tell exactly your situation. Then it's a little bit easier to hang your hat on. But I want to give you some bullet points to remember right now. So Medicaid compliant annuities are the new game changer in Minnesota, definitely. It was a court case out of North or South Dakota, the Guston case, about 5 or 6 years ago that made them, it determined that they were allowable, and then Minnesota's Department of Human Services acknowledged that later, and we have done quite a few of them. With those annuities, you can save over half your assets with the proper plan and still get good care. The sooner you plan, the better. Because if you might want to do this off in the future, one thing I want to do is make sure your estate plan documents are right, so you have that flexibility. So if you lose your capacity and we can't fix your documents, we might not be able to make the gift. So we want to keep options open, so plan sooner. And then you save more than you spend on the smooth sailing system. I can't tell you how much, but I'll tell you, it didn't cost George $250,000. Okay, no, way less. So our complimentary strategy session that we are offering at the end will help you understand, how we can help you. Is this a good time for you to move forward? Should we start doing the plan now? We want to do that one-on-one because we know it's hard to get out of this talk exactly how we can help you. So I'm almost done with teaching you. I hope you're not overwhelmed. Estate recovery is the last thing I want. This is where the state comes after your money after you died. If you received medical assistance, if they paid medical assistance for you, they want to come after whatever's left after you die. We call it estate recovery. Have you ever heard of it? Please let me know in the chat. Because some of you heard of some of this stuff, so I think you might have. This is where most commonly people think of this on the house. If there's a lien on the house, yep, mostly no's. Okay, well, about half and half. Okay, that's good. People will worry about the lien on the house, and this is very true. That you should worry about the lien on the house. And a lot of times people they only have $3,000 left, but sometimes there's life insurance or there's more money, and it ends up to be kind of involved. And we help people with that too. When we do our asset protection plan, we plan about estate recovery. We can't make it go away, but we plan for it. And then we help you with it afterward. So that can be sticky. People can get really stressed out about that, especially after they lose a loved one, but we can help with that. And it's something you want to address. So another point I want to leave you with, this is not a do-it-yourself project. I really don't recommend it. I know it sounds self-serving, but I have to tell you, the rules are complicated. They're applied inconsistently. The laws are misquoted to us, but we know what they are and we can fix them. And we have built up a good reputation with the counties. And we know how much information to give them and how to present it. Of course, we're honest, but we also advocate for you. So that's what I recommend. It's easier for us to represent people from the beginning than to come in when there's a big mess and fix it, although we do that too. So I just think it's one of those things you don't do yourself. We all have those things you don't do yourself. I have a lot of them. And and that's one that I think applies to most people, if this is not your expertise. So here's something that you can think about. Megan, are we doing this in a poll, or should I just have them?
Well, I think you have to do the poll because you're the host. So you have. So,
and I didn't learn how to do the poll? Oh, okay.
But wait.
Well, polling number 1.
Yeah, we're going back to the beginning now.
Oh, excuse me.
Question 4.
Oh, sorry guys. I just learned this. I'm launching a poll. We're all learning new things thanks to COVID, aren't we? Okay. So you're viewing the questions. The first is, I want you to think about this. It would help us too, but I think it would help you. If you or for your loved one, you're worried about running out of money for your care or your loved one's care, that's supposed to be an or, in the next 10 years, okay? So, because if it's 20 years away, you know, there's not that much you need to do, but 10 years, I'd say, be good to plan. 2, I've made gifts in the past, especially the past 5 years. 3, I don't know if my estate plan allows for medical assistant asset protection strategies. This is what I'm concerned about. A lot of estate planners, the attorneys even, they don't understand about these annuities. Some elder law attorneys don't understand about these annuities. So a lot of times I see really good estate plans that don't allow for this option. And so I'm educating clients and attorneys about it. 4, I want to learn more about Medicaid and protect my assets. Okay, so I hope you guys don't mind. There's a couple of typos in there, but we just wanted to try something new for you today.
That was me.
Thank you for playing along with us. So it looks like, yeah, you know, some of you aren't worried. Okay, so that's interesting, and some of you are. And then it kind of makes me wonder what if you're concerned about. Okay, some have made gifts. You don't know if your estate plan allows for asset protection. So we can look at that and see that's actually something we can do without charge usually. And you want to learn more. Well, that's why you're here, because you want to learn more. Okay, thank you so much for playing along with me. And that's what's on this slide. So we could go to the next one, Megan. That was really helpful. Now, it's the question time. I thank you for sticking with me. 12:46 or 12:43. That's a lot of talking. Would you guys like to ask questions? You can put them in the chat. If you know how, you could raise your hand. Can we do that, Megan, or is that not allowed?
You should be able to raise their hand, I think.
Let me see.
You can maybe unmute people.
Yeah. If you know how to raise your hand, we could unmute you.
Or they can just take them in the chat too.
Oh, the income limit? Let me see. Joanne wants to know what's the income limit to qualify for Medicaid. And let me see if I have that in my notes today. Rarely have a client who doesn't qualify on income, so I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. The only one I ever had was a retired judge, and he had this amazing retirement and amazing long-term care, and his income was $16,000 a month. But that's why I'm it's not yeah, I don't have it, sorry. We can get, if you do that meeting with Megan that I'll offer at the end, you can I can get you those numbers. Okay, differences state to state. Oh my goodness, Gary, are you thinking of moving? Gary wants to know if there's differences state to state. Yes, I'll tell you about a difference in the next slide with a common question I get. That's the most common, but there's a little bit different about how much money you keep and how long the look back is. And, you know, Minnesota is really kind of rough on enforcement and getting it approved, but the rules are somewhat similar between the states. And so it would help to better know if you were thinking about a certain state. I do have friends in just about all the other states, though, that we can refer you to and find out greater details. James, if the MA annuity is not fully expended when the beneficiary dies, what happens to the balance of the annuity? Goes to the state. That's one of the drawbacks. Really good question. If any of you feel like I'm not answering your question or there's a little more, keep putting it in chat and I'll see it. Jackie, who would I contact about a family member giving care at home and getting paid up until a hospice would be involved? That would be us. So you work with an elder law attorney because you have to follow the medical assistance rules in paying family members. So you have to, but anyway, we totally help you with that. You have to get a doctor's recommendation of the care needed, and we put that into a contract that we already have. We just customize it for you. So you do the contract, you do the payments, you do 1099s. It's a little bit of a hassle, but it can be really worth it. But that is a great example of the kind of thing people do without an elder lawyer, and then it ends up causing problems with medical assistance. So what about Minnesota? Really? Minnesota? Oh, Gary, I'm not sure what you mean by that. What did I say? I said too much. Oh yeah, Minnesota. I bet it was that we're so strict, right? Yes. I know Minnesota is generally liberal, but the state recovery is one of the most aggressive in the country. And I just heard a rumor that they're in a little bit of trouble with the feds because we administer medical assistance by the counties. You apply to each county, and that's partly why there's so much variance. And I tell you, they only let us start using email with them during COVID. That's what we're dealing with here. We're sending them faxes. This is why they're struggling so much with COVID. And so I heard the feds are kind of saying, like, you guys got to improve your system. But yeah, I think the inconsistency is a big part of it. Jean, if your monthly income is above the MA limit, does that keep you from getting assistance? Okay, Jean, if you're married, okay, sometimes there can be an allocation from the spouse with more money, more income to the spouse with less, and that can fix that. Sometimes you can get partial assistance depending how far over you are. Okay. Sometimes we wait, like somebody's income is too high because they're getting long-term care insurance, but we just plan for, well, that runs out in a year. And so that's when we're going to apply, and we do everything right between now and then. I can't give, I know I'm not giving the very best answers. This is why we offer that asset protection strategy session. So I'll just answer 2 more. Estate recovery. Your loved one dies. This is how it works, Bruce. You get a letter within 30 days that said, we're so sorry your loved one dies. Please don't pay anybody any money because the state comes before almost everybody except the federal government. And please provide this accounting within 30 days, which is a ridiculous deadline. So then you provide the accounting. Well, we always ask for an extension. And then you got to know the rules. You got to know what they can grab and what they can't grab and so forth. And they don't always keep track of their own rules. And then, they keep track of them incorrectly, I guess I should say. And then in the end, what you do is you negotiate with them. They'll say, I want this much and, whatever. And they try to get you to open a probate. And we usually say, no, you open the probate. We'll negotiate with you, decide on a number, and turn it over. We've had some really complicated ones lately that we worked with them on. There was a worker, I have a video on this. I think it's been on Facebook, maybe not yet, but there was a worker in Ramsey County. He was charged earlier in May. He was the estate recovery worker. I used to work with him. Patrick Morris was his name. He was stealing from clients. He got a lady to give him her car. And he told her, if you give me the keys to your car, I'll give you credit on your thing. And she thought it was legit. He made it sound like it was the county, but they found the car in his yard with the plates off because she eventually hired an attorney who said, where's the credit for the car? And it all fell apart. Anyway, it's not very fun dealing with the state recovery. Okay, Jackie Gale. Oh, okay. Here's a drawback to the Medicaid compliant annuity. If you die before it's spent, it's going to be paying care, while you're alive. If you die before it's all spent, unlike there's 100,000 left, it goes to the state. That's why it's Medicaid compliant. That's the main feature of it. So you got to kind of, kiss that money goodbye when you buy the annuity. It's, you're protecting half your assets, but the other half is either going to your care or going to the state. That's why they allow them. Okay, I know it's complex. I know I talk fast. I try not to. But I'm going to wrap up the question session because I actually have something better for you. And, I forgot. I told you I would talk about this when Gary asked me. A lot of people ask, can't I just do an asset protection trust? Can't I just create an irrevocable trust and hide all my assets in there, put in the family cabin, put in $500,000, and then like 5 years later apply for medical assistance? Okay, not as well as in other states. In other states, they do this routinely. Okay, in Minnesota, the position of medical assistants is we don't allow that. You know, that's a gift. It's still available, and you have to break open that trust and spend that money on your care. So we think that's unconstitutional. There is a case in Minnesota where the client appealed and won in court. And we think that it is going to win again because we think the DHS is wrong. And we would be happy to take that case and make new law in Minnesota. However, most of our clients, they don't want to make new law in Minnesota because we tell them you can do this trust. You probably should plan on spending $20,000 to $30,000 in attorney's fees. We can't guarantee the outcome. We think we're probably going to win, but we can't guarantee it. So then everybody usually says, oh, I think I'll do the annuity. Okay, so that's it for that. I just want you to know it's just not as simple and easy as everywhere else, and it's so complicated that most people just say, in Minnesota, say, forget it. So how do you move on from being stressed out, if you're stressed out, or maybe just a little confused, overwhelmed, whatever you're feeling, very normal, to having your ducks in a row and having some peace of mind, okay? Hopefully so far, I've helped you move in that direction. Now, the next step, which I think is going to be way more helpful, especially because you were on this talk, this is very good preparation for it. We offer this asset protection strategy session. This is with Megan. And you can schedule right now if you go to our website /schedule. Okay. And then there's a couple different options to schedule with Megan. It's the asset protection strategy session. Okay. You can keep going, Megan. We just broke this out into more slides for you so we can help you understand what to expect. It's not moving. The slide is on the same thing.
That's weird. It's switched on mine.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. I hope that you can all see this now too. How it works, it's with Megan. She's the Director of Client Relationships. 30-minute meeting, could be at our office. That's our conference room, except it doesn't show the plexiglass dividers we have now. And of course, the masks are required. So we follow safety for your sake. Either way, whatever you prefer. During the meeting, Megan will listen to your goals, your concerns, learn about your finances, your medical, your family situation, what's going on. Second, explain if we and how we can help you. And what's the smooth sailing system process and what's the cost. So you can be educated and know what you're getting into if you want to go forward. Which means to you, you get personal attention that's free, it's private, and it's without commitment. So you're not committing to go forward with us just by this meeting. Plus, Megan will answer all your questions about your unique situation. The only thing I will say, she can't give legal advice. She can't go deep, you know, we can't like go deeply into it and say, well, you would save $339,000. I mean, like, we can't tell you that. Okay, but we're going to tell you that yes, we can help, it'll be worth your while, et cetera, and answer other questions. But by the end of the whole process, of course, you would know way more. Okay, so I just want you to have a realistic expectation. Okay, the next one. At the end of that meeting, okay, this is our goal. And we would send you a representation agreement, you know, unless you said you weren't interested, but we would send you a representation agreement, spell out, you know, this is what you'd be hiring us to do. This is the cost and a request for payment. And then an organizer. We don't have you do this longer organizer till we really know it's going to be worth your time. So you'll give us the information we need to develop your plan. And then there's some documents we need from you. Okay, so once we get that from you, those three things, it's pretty easy to do, right? On your phone, you can do some of it. And then we're going to have everything we need and we'll draft your plan. And then after that, we'll sit down and meet with you. Megan will explain the rest of that process. The total value, I would say it's at least a couple $100, at least. 300 we have there, yes. But it's no charge. I mean, we appreciate you being here today. We want to add value. We know people need to be educated to really understand and make sure that you're a client that we can help. So, yep, we encourage you to sign up again, to schedule. We set aside 15 spots for you guys. And so again, this is where you schedule. And then theirs is again, we have 15 spots. So, because Megan is very busy these days, aren't you, Megan? Yes.
Yes.
But we know it's really good for you guys to get in quickly after a talk, as quickly as possible, because it's fresh in your mind. And we've noticed that it's much more helpful to you. So that's why she set aside sometimes. And is that it, Megan? We just created some more. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, my personal guarantee. I don't have all these on my printout somehow. Okay. Yes, listen, we promise. We are going to listen to your concerns and learn about your situation. Megan is great at this. I've trained her, spent a lot of time, and she does a great job. We will be honest about if we can help you or not, and if you're a good candidate, and what to expect, and what the costs are. And we will do our best to provide you with value in this meeting and to educate and empower you so you can make a decision going forward. So we again encourage you, and you can go to the next slide, Megan. Oh, we have a gift for you. I just made this new report, How to Stay Out of the Nursing Home. And it has some really good tips in it, I have to say. Some are government programs, some are other things. So I didn't talk about quite a bit of it today. And that would be helpful for you. So if you sign up, you'll get that. And we'd be happy to have you have that. I think I should skip the smooth sailing story because it is 1 o'clock. So that's just a story from my own life about how I was going through rough waters in a yellow canoe. And when you guys go through rough waters in life, I don't want you to have the kind of the panic I had, and how my sister and I started arguing because we were stressed and we were scared and we didn't know what to do. And so I want you guys to have an asset protection plan so you and your loved ones can be calmer, even though rough waters are going to come. We want to help you come into that safe harbor and have peace of mind. So thank you very much for taking your time today to spend with us. We value your time, and I really hope to see you schedule an appointment, and we'll stand for a few minutes, see if you have any other questions. You can always call also, 612-615-9535. Or you can see that on our website. Do you want to say anything, Cheryl?
Oh, I just want to thank everybody for attending your webinar. It was very informative, and I really appreciate your insight and the information you provided today. And if anybody wants to check out Cerenity Marian, please feel free to give me a call as well.
Yeah, I can't say enough good about Cerenity, Marian. It's great, great place.
Well, thank you, Margaret.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.